Hello, I'm Fast Lawyer, Ms. Oculus Rift Reviews. Today we're going to review and play Attack of the Retrobots VR, a game on the Steam store by developer Denormalizer for the HTC Vive, Valve Index, Oculus Rift, and Windows Mixed Reality. This is the same developer that made Necromutex, and I received the free Steam key through the Steam Curator Connect program to review this game. As some of you may recall, I did review Necromutex, or tried to at least. I did a Let's Play, first impressions type of review. It was not a full review. This is a full review. I think you can consider this review actually a full review for Necromutex, because it's basically the same game. This game has robots. That's the difference between this game and Necromutex. Necromutex had mutants or zombies, Zeds. This has robots, and that's really the only difference. It's really the same game, and one thing that I was disappointed in playing this game is how the game really hasn't changed all that much. I was expecting at least big changes, smooth turning, snap turning, just better overall polish, and it's really not here. It's really the same game. So if you played Necromutex and you like that game, then you'll probably like this game as well, because it's the exact same game, only has robots. I don't know if that's a big enough difference to warrant you buying this game, but it is more of the game. It does have robots versus mutants, but they're basically the same enemies, just reskin version. And you have the same weapons, the same looking map, and the same type of power-ups and whatnot. There really isn't that much of a difference that I could see between the two games. It really looks just like a reskin version. So if you already own Necromutex, the only reason to buy this game is if you just want a reskin version. If you don't own Necromutex, then you can choose either this one or Necromutex if you're interested. However, let me speak about reasons you may not be interested. So my main problem with this game, and I mentioned it in my Necromutex review, is a lot of the levels look exactly the same. Now, the developer mentions, I think he says on his store page 10,000 levels. Again, I don't know if that's true or not, but I can tell you a lot of the levels end up looking exactly the same. There are differences between the levels, don't get me wrong. It's not like there are not any differences. There are differences within the levels, but once you've played, like myself, I think I cleared 20 levels. Maybe it was more than that, but I know I'm in the 5% of people who've completed as many levels as I have in this game. And yes, I got an Steam achievement for completing, I think it was 20 sectors, and I know I've completed more than 20 sectors, because I know I played more after that. But I know that only less than 5% of people have gotten that achievement, so not very many people have played this game for an extended amount of time. I think I spent almost 4 hours in this game, but I just don't see the point in going any further. I think I got my time in this game enough to review the game and just tell you, if you like a challenge, if you like an arena shooter with rogue-like elements, this might be something that interests you. However, there is no story, there is no real progression. It's just, upgrades. You can upgrade your weapons, you can upgrade some of your skills to help you last longer. And it's really just more about the challenge. So yeah, this is a difficult arena shooter, and this one gets difficult a lot sooner than Necromutex, so I would say that's one other difference, but I wouldn't say it's a big difference. A lot of the play style is exactly the same, a lot of the guns are all the same, the skills are the same, so it really isn't that different. But I did think this game got a little bit more difficult sooner than Necromutex. And it just seems like your guns are just not really all that powerful. Obviously, you can respec and get a different gun. I tried getting the minigun, but just the amount of money required to upgrade that was more than I had. And that was after almost 4 hours of playing this game. So it is really a grind to be able to use more powerful weapons. And I'm just at a point where I would have to grind very slowly in order to be able to use the minigun, and I just don't think that's very fun to grind as much as this game wants you to, especially when a lot of the gameplay elements are exactly the same. There's no like boss fights or anything like that really. It's just clearing levels, and obviously the further you get, the more difficult it gets. There's flying enemies that blow up. There's giant enemies. There's enemies with like electrical damage, with what looks like hazardous waste. So there's all kinds of different types of damage they might do to you. So it does bring a new element to the game as you progress, but at the same time it does feel a lot of the same. You're basically just shooting as fast as you can, and sometimes you're just shooting endlessly as there is a big horde of enemies. One positive I'll say about this game is that even though there are lots of enemies on the map, the game always ran smoothly for me. I didn't notice any performance issues, and there is a nice visual variety to the enemies. But it's not like the enemy AI is very smart, but they do have different abilities. So some of them will explode, some of them will shoot you at range, some of them will fly, some of them do electrical damage, some of them do other types of damage, fire damage. So yeah, because of that variety, there is something of a challenge in this game, and if you like that type of challenge, this might be something that interests you more. But for me, who likes a story, who likes to see some sort of progression as far as either a story or some kind of end goal, there just isn't that here. It's just upgrade your weapon, upgrade your skills, kill more enemies, rinse and repeat, and that's just not for me.